Hey guys, it's me, Seren, back with another video. This video is going to be about last night's Emmys, which I'm sure you guys have all heard about by now. The Emmys were last night, the Emmy Awards, which are like TV awards for, the best television. They were last night, Sunday. I actually had no idea that the Emmys were even on because, as you guys know, after last year's award season, I pretty much swore off the awards. So I really didn't even know that the Emmys were last night until Twitter exploded. My timeline exploded while the Emmys were on because there was a whole lot of black girl excellence and black girl magic just all up and down my timeline. So I feel like I basically watched the important parts. I caught the good parts. I saw the commercial, the Apple commercial, which was directed by Ava DuVernay, and it starred Mary J. Blige, Taraji P. Henson, and Kerry Washington. And I love Taraji. Taraji is from DC, and she is so DC. She reminds me of my mom so much. She is my other mother, in my head. So I saw that on Twitter. And of course, I saw Uzo Amaka Aduba. Hopefully I pronounced that right. She won her second Emmy for her role as Suzanne, aka Crazy Eyes in Orange is the New Black. And she actually made history last night because only one other person has ever won an Emmy twice for the same role in two genres, and it's actually a man, it's an actor. She's the first woman to ever do that. She won for her role as Suzanne. She now has a comedy Emmy as well as a drama. Regina King won a supporting actress Emmy for her role in American Crime, which I have not seen. But I've heard that it's good, and I've heard that Regina King, is everything in the role, so I might give it a watch. I do watch Orange is the New Black. And also, Viola Davis won for her role in How to Get Away with Murder, which I have not seen, and you guys keep telling me that I need to watch it, so I'll probably start watching it. Also, completely unrelated, but Minority Report, the first episode of that with Meagan Good comes on tonight, so I don't have cable, so I'm probably not going to catch it tonight, but my husband and I have the Fox app on Apple TV, so I'll probably watch it tomorrow, and I might do a video reviewing that, kind of like the one that I did for Daredevil. So, but yeah, Viola Davis won, and she made history as the first black actress to win a lead role in a drama Emmy. The first one in 67 years. In the 67 years that they have had a lead actress in a drama category at the Emmys, Viola Davis made history last night as the first ever black woman to win. Now, of course, the fact that we are in 2015 and this is just now happening is really just, a testimonial to how racist Hollywood is, how whitewashed all this shit is, how it's white supremacist fantasies, how, it really, everything is geared towards white people and rewards whiteness. The fact that in 2015, it took this long. The fact that Kerry Washington hasn't won for Scandal, all that type of stuff. But it was a watershed moment. It was a great moment. It was a historic moment. There was, like I said, all types of, black excellence, on the screen. Taraji P. Henson, like I said, who's my other mother in my mind, was cheering. She was, cheering for everyone. And she, hugged Viola Davis when Regina King won. Taraji and Terrence Howard actually presented her with her award, and she was hugging her and yelling because Taraji's off the chain, and it was just really, really, really cool to see. Everybody was just all this black girl excellence, all just up and down the timeline. And Viola actually, gave a brilliant speech where she actually referenced Harriet Tubman. I will include it in the description box. She referenced Harriet Tubman, and she thanked other black women actresses, and she outlined that the only difference between black women and women of color and everyone else is opportunity, or the lack thereof, and that we cannot win for roles that don't exist, right? AKA, we can't win if we are not in lead roles, if we're not in dramas, if we're not given, real meaty, multifaceted roles and not just, stereotypes or supporting roles. And that really the only thing, she referenced a line, there's the Harriet Tubman quote that she referenced talks about a line, that there's a line, and on one side of the line, there's white women, and there's all these, beautiful things, and then there's me on the other side of the line, and I can't seem to cross that line. And Viola Davis basically said, we cannot cross that line because we are not given the opportunity, you know? It's not because white women are better. It's not because white men are better. It's not because white people are better than us. It's because we, you know, we're held back by racism, and we are held back by these, you know, structural and these institutionalized systems. And I actually saw a really great comment, and this is a sentiment that I've seen kind of circling around the internet since she said that. Someone said, you know, this wouldn't be possible without Shonda Rhimes and her whole Shondaland and her diverse casting, starting with Grey's Anatomy, and then the creation of shows like Scandal and the creation of shows like How to Get Away with Murder. Even though Shonda Rhimes didn't create the show, I believe she's a producer on the show, and shows like Empire, which Lee Daniels, along with Danny Strong, who's white, but Lee Daniels and Danny Strong are the showrunners. Somebody said, you know, this wouldn't be possible without people like Shonda Rhimes, you know, black people and black women in particular that are, you know, in the industry, and they are creating, and even the ones that are outside of the industry and are creating, but we have to keep pushing and creating our own content. We have to keep telling our own stories. We have to keep creating our own narratives. We have to keep writing. We have to keep making movies. We have to keep making TV shows, because if we don't do it, no one's going to do it. You know, if we don't create those opportunities for ourselves, no one is going to create them for us. Obviously, white people ain't waking up, so we have to keep doing it for ourselves. And I thought that that was a really, really, really powerful comment. I thought it was a really powerful sentiment, and I agree 100%. We have to create the things that we want to exist. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world. We, you know, we have to create. So you have, you know, someone like Ava DuVernay, who catches a lot of flack for, you know, oh, why hasn't she done another movie? Why hasn't she done another movie? And it's like, well, first of all, Selma was not Ava DuVernay's first film. She's actually directed several other feature films, but you have these, you know, black content creators, and especially these black women creators that are, you know, they're kind of creating and they're telling their stories on their own terms, right? Like Ava DuVernay was up for this Black Panther film with Marvel, and she opted out. She decided she didn't want to do it because they wouldn't let her be true to her creative vision, which, in my opinion, I feel like that just means it's going to be some, you know, some like whitewashed nonsense. But so what is she doing? She's directed a great short with Gabrielle Union. You know, she directed this commercial with Apple, which really showcases sisterhood between Kerry Washington and Taraji P. Henson and Mary J. Blige. And those types of narratives and creating that type of content is important. And then you have people that will be like, oh, well, but like if it's not a movie, it doesn't matter. But it's like you literally have these, you know, these creators and these actors and these actresses that are going to TV, they're going to, you know, even commercials, they're crowdfunding their own projects, they're creating these projects outside of, you know, the larger system of Hollywood, because Hollywood doesn't want to do anything with us. It doesn't want to do anything with our stories. You have, you know, Fantastic Four, where they couldn't even commit to a black Sue Storm, even though they had a black Johnny Storm, right? So we have to keep creating, and we have to keep telling our own stories and creating our own content, and I think that was really important and powerful statement to make. So, of course, all this black excellence wouldn't be complete without some good old white tears. So some old ass fucking bitter Betty white actress had to swoop in and Taylor Swift all over everybody's good time on Twitter because she didn't like that Viola Davis's speech mentioned race specifically, because she specifically said in her speech, you know, that a lot of the times black women and women of color, we can't get across that line because we are not given the opportunity. And, you know, like she specifically mentioned race. So, you know, this old hag had to come in, and not all white people all over the fucking timeline. Basically what this woman said was that, you know, this is not the moment to talk about race. You know, we don't need to bring race into the equation. Actually, I think I have the tweets here. Let me look and see if I have them. Oh, there it goes. She goes, you know, I'm a fucking actress for 40 years. She was like an old bird. I'm an actress for 40 years. None of us get the respect or opportunity that we deserve. But the Emmys are not a venue for racial opportunity. All women are belittled. She put all in caps. So she really hit that, you know, let's not make it about race. All lives matter, you know. And then she said, I want equality for all women, right? She really had to jump in with the all lives matter white feminist bullshit. And it's so fucking offensive because it's just like, are all women belittled in Hollywood? Sure. But black women are even more belittled, right? Women of color are even more belittled than white women because of race, because of misogynoir, okay? Because of that sweet spot where race and gender intersects. And it's a real slap in the face to pretend otherwise, right? Like, there's been a lead actress Emmy for 67 years, and for 67 years, a white woman has won it. So with Viola's win, we now have a 67-to-1 ratio. And when the ratio is 67 white women to 1 black woman, you can't look me in the face and say that race doesn't matter or all women are belittled. Like, obviously, we are not on the same playing field, okay? Like, obviously, all women are belittled, but race still has something to do with it. You can't look me in the face and say that race doesn't matter unless you're prepared and willing to look me in the face and say that you genuinely believe that white women are naturally more talented than black women. Unless you're willing to look me in my face and say race had nothing to do with those 67-to-1 wins. Race had nothing to do with it. For those 60 some odd years in a row, white women were just naturally better until Viola Davis came along. And that's racist. That's racist ass fucking bullshit. And I've said that in other videos. Either we accept that Hollywood and other industries have race and sex problems, or we accept that white people and men are just more talented and creative. And that is racist, sexist trash. Like, it's trash. It's trash. Like, as Viola said in her speech, black women are not given the opportunity to succeed. And I would take it one step further and add that even when we are given the opportunity, we are not recognized for our work in the same way that white women are because of our race. And that goes back to the whole Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift debacle. Like, we are different. We are not all women. We are different because of race. It is not about all women being belittled. It's about black women specifically being held back because of race as well as gender. And that is something that white women really don't want to understand, and they really don't want to acknowledge it because they don't want to accept that they are in a position of power. They don't want to accept that as white people, they never have to deal with issues of race and gender. They only have to focus on race. They only have to focus on gender. And that's white privilege. Right? That's white privilege. That is white privilege in action. Twitter swiftly gathered and went in her mentions and fucking collected her, and she was apologizing by the end of the night. But whatever, bitch. Like, the damage is done. Like, you fucking Taylor Swifted all over the moment. You white feminists ranted all over the moment. But you are not going to take this moment away from Viola Davis. And I'm glad that she was quickly snatched and gathered. So I actually have some tweets that I want to read. And then I'm gonna, go ahead and close out. Somebody said, because the old woman is like a soap opera star. So in a cast of 51, General Hospital has 1 black woman, 1 black man. And her name is Nancy. Of course her name is Nancy. Nancy Lee Graham. Nancy fucking Taylor Swift. We'll just call her Taylor Swift. Old ass Taylor Swift is whining about equality, right? Like, your average soap operas have a vastly white cast. Your average TV shows and movies have a vastly white cast. 1 black person or 1 person of color gets a crumb, and even that little crumb makes white people feel some type of way that they want to snatch it away, right? White feminism is the greatest irony. It really only takes a split second to acknowledge that all suffrage ain't the same. Exactly. Are we all belittled? Yes, but I'm going to be belittled even more because of my race, and you don't have to deal with that. It's remarkable. It speaks to how incredibly ignorant and tone deaf this white woman, old-ass Taylor Swift, is to others' experiences. The Emmys have been around for 67 years. Black woman wins leading drama for the first time, and this chick says, let's not talk about race right now. Exactly. She was the first black woman to win an Emmy in that category. Viola's speech was necessary tonight. Get over yourself. Somebody else said, I was a bit uncomfortable with Viola Davis' speech too. Then I realized a white woman won that category 60 years in a row. Exactly. I want equality for all women, so I'll bemoan the first black woman to win an award that only white women have won for decades. Again, same with the All Lives Matter thing. That points out the fallacy in what you're saying when you say all women or all lives, because if you really cared about all women to the point where you said, oh, you shouldn't make it a race thing, it's all women. If you really cared about all women, then you would just be happy for Viola Davis, because Viola Davis is a woman. But the fact that she's black made you want to say something. So that's that, and and that is the fallacy with the all lives matter, all this, all that, because if you really felt that way, then when we talk about black people specifically, it wouldn't bother you because we're included in all, right? Like, it's a fucking fallacy. Last one, white privilege is saying, what about me too, when you've never been in a position where your skin color affected your opportunities? Mic drop. At the end of the day, like I said, her white feminist bullshit is not important. It's not going to take the moment away from Viola Davis. It's not going to take the moment away from Uzo Amaka. It's not going to take the moment away from Regina. It's not going to take the moment away from every other black actress winning and having a moment right now, because black girls motherfucking rock. We the shit. You're going to keep being mad about it. You're going to keep being pressed about it. You're going to keep feeling some type of way about it. And we're going to just keep on fucking winning. So deal with it. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comment section. Food for thought as always. See you guys next time. Peace.